Okay, so that's a different issue. So this really just depends on the rig. Certain rigs, just the way they're rigged, arc trackers essentially work on mathematics. So for example, if I want to track the tip of a finger, a lot of arc trackers don't actually track that one point in 3D space. What they're doing is they're tracking the mathematics of everything, of every other joint through the rig down to the root. And that's what slows things down, is all of that computation. Now, that's great because it gives very accurate arc tracking, unless the rig doesn't quite work that way. In which case, I might try to track the finger, and that arc is doing something way over here and doing its own thing instead of tracking the finger. How do you fix that? Well, there's two ways that I usually go about it. The simple way is I'll just track things manually. Use the grease pencil, just put the dots on the screen where you want it to be, move the finger where you want it to be. Done. That's my go-to. I usually track arcs with a grease pencil tool nowadays because honestly, I find it a little bit faster because I'll literally just put the spacing exactly where I want it to be, just match my poses to that, and then I'm done. Versus having an arc that tells me that it's wrong, and then I have to fix it anyway. So I might as well just put it where I want it to be. But let's say we do need to track that arc and track it correctly. What you can do is track the arc using a locator. So let me bring in a rig here. And we're going to give an example here. Now, this probably won't be broken, but give an example of how we would approach this anyway. So let me make sure that the color is... There we go. Ah, I'm so glad you told me this. It's making it so much better. Okay. So let's say I need to track the tip of the fingers here. So I'm just going to key all of this. And it's just going to go up through here. Okay. Now, as we go through, we're also going to have the hand kind of rotate back like that. Right through there. So we've got, wow, what a beautiful animation. It's gorgeous. So we've got this motion here. I want to track the tip of the finger. Now, if it works correctly, I could just take that finger control, go to visualize, create editable motion trail. And there we go. There's our trail. Perfect. Haha. Easy. But what if this marker wasn't following? We create the trail and it's just doing its own thing somewhere else. How do we get that to line up? My favorite way of doing it is just a quick bake. So what I'll do is I'll create a locator. So create locator right there. And let's just kind of move it up in space here. So there's our locator. I'm going to constrain it to the control that I want to follow. So in this case, the finger. Now, when you're constraining, you want to select the object that leads, then the object that follows, like that. So finger, then locator. Constrain parent, and I'm going to make sure maintain offset is turned off. That way the locator snaps right to the finger right there. So you can see it's following along right through there. Now I can just go to, so I'm going to select the locator and I want to bake this out. I could technically track this locator here, but because it is now part of the rig, whatever issue that the rig is giving me is going to happen in the locator as well. So it's not going to make a difference. But what I can do is take the locator, go to edit, keys, bake simulation right here. And I'm just going to bake this on ones right there, sample by 1. Bake that out. So now that locator is keyed. It's doing its own thing. And with that, I can select the locator. And I'm just going to go to visualize, create editable motion trail. There we go. There's my trail. Now, the problem with this is that if I move things around, it's not going to auto update. Well, I just recreate that constraint, rebake it, retrack it. It's a little bit of a pain because you don't have the automatic updates, but at least it's going to give you somewhere to start. And then you can make your changes, update the trail, go a little faster. And if you create your own tool, your own Mel script, that'll just take those commands and basically turn that into one button, it's actually not that hard to do. So yeah, that's normally what I'll do. But honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this because I'd rather just do the grease pencil tool. And you need to delete the constraint before you make another one? No. So let's get rid of the trail here. So the locator is right there. I could just create another constraint. So let's delete the animation on it. So I'm just going to delete selected. I can move it out of the way. Select the finger, then the locator, constrain parent. There we go. So you could just keep using the same locator or just create a new locator, whatever works for you.